Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of JustNoMil. In today's episode, MIL kept feeding me QE when I was pregnant. MIL wants to see baby every week/weekend. Help, having first baby and want to go in see with MIL. Update, I want to cut my ML out of my life. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL kept feeding me QE when I was pregnant. My MIL kept giving me meals that made me sick while I was pregnant. One of those meals was QE. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a traditional meal in Ecuador. In English, it's guinea pig. When I was simply dating her son, she would always offer, but I would decline because where I'm from we don't eat it, and it didn't seem appealing to me. She would always offer, but she wouldn't push it on me. We went no contact for a while, but then when I got pregnant, we reached out to give her a second chance. She fawned over me, and it was a big change from the cold shoulder I would usually get. However, she was very adamant on my diet. And she stated how since our baby was half Ecuadorian, I needed to eat traditional food. She would insist for me to eat the guinea pig meat, and the one time I gave in, I got violently ill. After my husband would step in every time, she would offer the meat to me and tell her to stop and that I don't like it. But that didn't stop her from shredding the meat in meals she would make whenever she would be over and sneaking it into my meals and claiming it was chicken or steak or anything else, and each time I would get sick. To the point I just stopped taking whatever food she offered. She would make comments about me needing to follow their traditions so that I swear she always said our baby knows that they're not just Puerto Rican, which is where my family is from. I told her that I keep getting sick, so that must mean the baby must not be that Ecuadorian then, since she doesn't like it. She got upset and said how I'm going to just make her Puerto Rican and dismiss her Ecuadorian side. Has anyone else ever dealt with this? Because I'm genuinely wondering if it's simply just her being batshit crazy. If her traditions include poisoning people, then those traditions can rot in a ditch. Please tell me she has been put in her place by now? Repeatedly, and not just by me, but her own son too. But she just plays the victim, saying I'm out to get her and that I turned her son on her and make him treat her horrible. What can you do? At this point, all I can do is look back and laugh at the crazy stuff she's done. When I was pregnant, I had severe morning sickness and was having aversions to certain foods. My ML asked my husband while she was at the store what she should buy for dinner since she was cooking for me while my husband worked at night. My husband told her anything except pasta and red sauce because it was making me sick, which they routinely eat, and I could no longer stomach. That evening came and I smelt it. My stomach immediately went into knots, but I thought, oh, maybe that's just for her, and she got me something else. She calls me for dinner, and in my place is a big bowl of pasta and red sauce. I didn't know what to say, so I sat down and began eating. It didn't take long for me to have run to throw up, and then I spent the rest of the evening throwing up and sleeping. I still to this day have no idea how she could do that after being told. I think projectile vomiting on her would have made a lasting impression. Yours is unfortunately not the first story I've seen here where ML feeds her DL food that makes her ill. It's not even the fifth. I'd be incredibly concerned about her doing the same to my baby. Please stay away from her. It is malicious to keep putting things in your food she knows will make you sick and will not stop. Your husband can go see her on his own. Be ready to tackle her if she tries to feed your baby anything. Please go and see again. She has been forcing one dish on you that is Ecuadorian, and you don't like it, and it makes you sick. I am more than that. Ecuador has many other native traditional meals she can prepare that aren't guinea pig. Not liking one dish is not you denying your child of their heritage or culture. MIL wants to see baby every week/weekend. Hi guys, I guess I'm posting really because I need to vent. My husband, 32, and I, 28, recently moved back to our hometown once we had our baby girl. Both his parents live down the street from us now, and his mom has been guilt-tripping us every week and weekend to see our baby, her first grandchild. She'll say things like, only for 15 minutes, or we'll bring food over, etc. My husband tells her no constantly, but she still does it because she's the grandma and we can't keep our baby away from her. We're not trying to be malicious, but I really dislike having to spend so much time with my in-laws. It's not enjoyable or relaxing for me at all. Ultimately, they aren't my parents. We're also going on a trip outside the country this summer for 6 weeks, and she's using that against us now. I don't know what to do and am at my wit's end. My husband is on the same page as me, but he's been conditioned to always say yes to her growing up because he would get in trouble and or he just tries to get her off his back. Any similar experiences? Advice? Would take anything. My husband tells her no constantly, but she still does it because she's the grandma and we can't keep our baby away from her. Oh, but yes you can. Drop the blinds, pull the drapes, lock the doors, turn off the phones and ignore her on the porch. We're also going on a trip outside the country this summer for 6 weeks and she's using that against us now. Tell her if she keeps her shit up, and y'all will move to another country and not tell her where. You have all the power here. She has absolutely none whatsoever. Want to know why? You have something she wants access to. She can either learn to operate within your boundaries or her consequences are timeouts and ultimate no contact. I need this level of confidence. Tell hubby he is an adult now and he will not get in trouble. The more he gives in and lets her get her way, it will continue and probably progress. No is an answer. You're the parents, she's the grandmother. This is your baby, and what you say goes. I'm a mother and grandmother, and I seriously can't understand why mother-in-laws these days have such weird self-serving expectations. I think the whole thing is for a mother-in-law to support her kid and their partner and their children and let them call the shots. This stuff is crazy. She needs to get a life. Perhaps you need to condition your husband to be more scared of pissing you off, and then he'll shut down his mother. When my husband lets unwanted visitors in against my wishes, I suddenly need to go lock myself in the bedroom to feed him. Then, oh no, it's turned into a long contact nap. Help. Having first baby and want to go in see with MIL. Want to make sure I'm not overreacting as this is a big decision. I'm almost 4 months pregnant with our first child. My MIL has been an issue from the beginning. I've been with my husband for 8 years, married for 1. I want to go no contact with my MIL, and I also don't want her involved in my child's life. We told her very clearly to not post anything about the baby on any social media. Today, I was scrolling Facebook and saw a comment where she was telling someone she's about to be a grandma along with the gender and when I'm due. I haven't told my work that I'm pregnant. I also haven't told most of my family the gender yet. She is Facebook friends with some of my coworkers. I wasn't even on her page. I was just scrolling through Facebook and bam, there it was. My husband called her and told her to delete the comment immediately, and she blew up on him and told him to never speak to her or see her again. She'll come crawling back sooner or later as she always does. This incident was the breaking point where I snapped. Few other things. She is constantly talking down to my husband, aka her son. Most of the time we leave her house, he ends up crying at least once. I used to love the holidays, now I'm extremely anxious leading up to them because it always ends badly. She has never done anything specifically to me, but it hurts to see my husband treated so poorly. Example of how she talks to my husband. He texted her letting her know he made some barbecue and sides for a holiday. Her response was that he is a shit son because who would invite his mother to eat food she doesn't like? I worked with COVID patients when we still didn't know much about it, and I was terrified to bring it home and kill any of my family. So we told them we would come over for the holidays, but that we would be wearing masks the whole time. We want to take a picture with us. She put her arms around our faces and ripped our masks off. She caused issues with our engagement, wedding, and now our first child. So much that he cried about her on our honeymoon at one point. Plenty of other times she has acted like that, but don't want to be here all day. I don't want her in mine or my child's life, but I'm still having a hard time because this is difficult for my husband. He says he understands, but also says that he can't imagine his parents not meeting their grandchild. He says he was never planning to leave her alone with our child, but she constantly bullies my husband in front of other people, so why would she be any different with her grandchild? Am I overreacting? Should I let this slide again? She treats you both poorly. That's all I need to hear. There's no reason for her to be in your innocent child's life if she can't be kind or respect you both. She's already overstepping boundaries and you're barely halfway through your pregnancy. Trust me, you don't want the drama or craziness some of these MLs bring to the table when the due date is approaching or early postpartum where you're especially vulnerable. Her reaction to being caught out overstepping boundaries says all I need to know about her. She told Hubs to never contact her again, So by extension, that includes you and your children. Remind her of that when she comes crawling back, and that you will be honoring her demand by not having her in your life. Ask your husband if he really wants to subject his own child to her cruelty and insanity. She won't stop being who she is just because she's their grandma. Suddenly, your LO will be on the receiving end of her wrath because they don't respond to a gift as enthusiastically as she wanted them to. If he won't take the incredibly necessary measures to protect himself, won't he do it for his child? Absolutely go fully NC and never look back. Update: I want to cut my ML out of my life. This piggybacks to my previous post. We ended up going to see a therapist together. She scarred me for life and basically told me I need to be the one confronting his mom and then I need to give her more chances, blah 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 blah. One of her recommendations was for me to talk one-on-one with my ML. I told my husband I'm not ready to speak one-on-one with her, but I am open to inviting her to the baby shower and to start attempting to mend the relationship that way. Well, I'm so glad I invited her to the baby shower, because she showed my entire family her true colors. Towards the end of the shower, she pulled my mom outside to talk about what's going on between me and her. My mom already knows a lot, but played dumb. My ML began to tell my mom multiple lies to try to get her on her side because she is always the victim. She told my mom that she has tried to reach out to me multiple times and I won't respond. False. She hasn't reached out to me once. She had posted our baby's gender and due date on Facebook, which we had not told most people that I was even pregnant yet, and she claimed it was an accident. But then she told my mom that she only posted it because that person was dying of cancer. So that's her admitting to lying and not caring about our boundaries. She told my mom many other things, but we would be here all day. One of the things that hurt me the most is that she told my mom that I make my husband miserable. The only thing we argue about is her. Multiple people witnessed this conversation, and I trust my mom that she would not lie to me about something like this. She refused to acknowledge me most of the baby shower even when I would specifically try to speak to her. Multiple people noticed it and asked me about it, so it wasn't me just imagining it. I told my husband what happened a few days later because I needed to process it and I didn't want my baby shower day to be ruined by her. I told him I don't want to be around someone who disrespects me like that anytime soon. AK, I don't want her meeting the baby as I will be around the baby for quite a while. And I don't want my child around anyone who acts like that either. If she is willing to tell my own mom all these lies, what is she telling my husband? Or what will she tell my child when she can talk? I gave her another chance because I love my husband and want to show him that I wanted to try for him. But she massively blew it up. I'm worried that this is going to put a wedge in our marriage because I feel like he doesn't get how upset I am about it. He is used to someone treating him like crap. I told him I have never had someone hurt disrespect me as much as she has in my entire life. I told him he needs to put boundaries up for himself with her. He said, what is the use of putting boundaries up when she crosses all of them? So that makes me feel like he's not even going to try anymore. I asked him today if he had said anything about it to her yet, and he has not, and it has been over a week. I let him know that this hurts me, that I feel like he doesn't have my back. He said he hasn't brought it up yet cause he doesn't know what to say to her. If anyone in my family treated him anywhere near how she treated me, I would be giving them hell. Basically looking for any tips to handle the situation and to make sure I'm not overreacting. I know I need to talk further with my husband as that part scares me. Your DH is seriously in the FOG. He needs a therapist who's knowledgeable about toxic family systems. It is a hard journey into the light, but well worth it. Until then, it's fairly useless to expect him to even know how to stand up to MIL. Definitely ditch any therapist who tells you to get along with an abuser. Sorry you found one of the bad ones there. It's okay to tell DH you're making an NC decision for you in the upcoming LO. He doesn't have to follow suit, but it's not his choice to make. His difficulty dealing with MIL is why NC is often the only solution. I wish you all the best. Hugs. This needs to be upvoted a lot. You really need a different therapist. I told him he needs to put boundaries up for himself with her. He said, what is the use of putting boundaries up when she crosses all of them? The response to this is straightforward. If there are no consequences for violating boundaries, then they are not actually boundaries. If you want to avoid having your boundaries stomped on, you have to enforce the consequences for stomping on them. That is the piece he has most likely been missing for his entire life. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.